It's time for another episode of Group Game Review. And pretty much what we do here, I shout out the game in the Goons Discord channel. Discord channel is always in the description. If you want everyone to join, come by, say what's up. I'm also just waking up, so I should be like a little more hyper later on. Hold up, water break. Wait, my cam not on. Let's fix that. Oh, why is it showing like that? Sheesh. Well, cam is on now. I can make it bigger now since I ain't really reading nothing important. I'm just reading. I ain't playing the game or nothing. Water. Always get the water up there, boys. So group game review. I shower the game. We play it. Y'all play it. You tell me what you think about it. Now, before I'm gonna do my own video about it, but right now, just honest little review real quick. 6 out of 10. The reason I give it 6 out of 10 because everything in the game felt good until I started playing the combat. I'm gonna go more on that on my video, but the combat just isn't for me, right? And it's hard to play the game when the combat's so bad to me. A lot of people may like the combat. If you like it, that's cool. I don't like it, and personally, I can't play a game where I don't like the combat. Everything else in the game was good, you feel me? But there's some points in the game where you're forced to fight, and I can't. The combat isn't good enough for that. But let's see what everybody else say, or let's people in the goon say. Okay, smart fella says it's good. You got Kami. Kami is like a certified game reviewer. You feel me? Like he got that shit on him. I ain't gonna cap. Solid game. I can take a lot of effort into it and it paid off. The story is intriguing, the quests are cool, the exploration is one of the best on Roblox for sure. The combat, I don't need to touch on because we already know what the deal is. And it's the weakest point. The badges are cool, music, aesthetics, really didn't miss in most departments. Me personally, I really is. Oh, I don't like being blocked off from the story because I'm too low level. Just let the NPC beat my ass or some shit. But aside from that, in the combat, I don't really have much complaints. It really isn't a game I can sit down and play for a long time, but that's just me. And I can see why it would be something others can do. In summary, 7 out of 10. One of the best we have in the wild, surprisingly. Pros, story, map, music, exploration, aesthetic. Cons, combat. People say all the time that the combat isn't a 5-hit or a parry, so we're complaining about it, but I disagree. If people bring new combat to the platform, I think people will give it a chance. However, this is nothing new. You can't fool me. I'm familiar with your game. Step it up, BedX. That's what I've been saying for a while. Like, it'd be different if this combat was new or innovative. This is the same combat he had from 2012. Shit, even himself he's told me in YouTube comments that yeah, I know it's the same combat from 2012, but people like it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I mean, hey, bro, do you? W Drake said good game, 7 out of 10. Ghost of Starman. Keep in mind, I played during 5-player servers before in the updates. There's not much in improving it. While the story is intriguing, it feels like it's trying to retread World of Magic's attempt at a story. Worse. The game seems aesthetically confused, whereas World of Magic had a consistent Middle Ages style. That's the number of players riffed on the game for copying One Piece games, though to me it feels like it's inspired by Sea of Thieves. Combat is its weakest point. Since the magic and weapon system hasn't been updated worth a damn, however, a physical fist combat feels very fluid and floaty despite being mechanically the same, and I enjoy using it. I'll be running a physical combat only build for that reason. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I'm also only running a hand build because throwing magic that doesn't feel good. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. However, there's obviously nothing new here. Since the magic and weapon systems were directly ported, the fist system is still the old bandit beater 5-click. It feeling better to use mostly came down to my preference rather than anything actually substantive. The cooking system is my favorite dish. Since I feel it adds to the culture of each island, it just sucks that there's only mushrooms, fruit, and other occasional spice to cook with. Right now, waiting for the ability to cook fish, okay? Overall, while it's better than World of Magic by virtue, the new materials that Roblox has to work with, it ultimately hasn't changed the formula at all, nor has it really tried anything new. 5 out of 10. You can do better, but I'm not happy my prediction about him not changing shit was true. Solid points. It's good besides PvP. It did everything right, but the combat which ruins a lot of the experiences, which is the same thing for me. It by far has the best lore/story on Roblox. The story is interesting and it feels like you're playing a real MMO at times. Also, the cutscenes are fire as fuck. Bro, I hope I show this part and actually like do my review. When I first started playing the game, I recorded every second of my gameplay, right? From me starting the game to me starting over on a new slot. When I first started playing the game, I seen them starting cutscenes. I was like, bro, this shit look clean as fuck. Like if I didn't play BedX games back then, like if I was like a new quote unquote BedX player and I didn't play Roblox in 2012, I would have played this game thinking, man, this game about to be heat. Because I knew who BedX was, I was like, well, cutscenes are always good. You know, that's the great part about Vedex's, work ethic is great part about his game. His cutscene game was always A1. But I'm sitting there like, man, I already know the game, the combat, but I'm not about to like it. So it kind of had me feeling kind of, sad. Then he says, oh, the next one, it says, Sav says, it's good besides PvP. Everything right, but the combat, which one, oh, I just read that. And he says, but again, the combat being utterly dog shit, blocks through copy makes the game not as enjoyable as it should be. There's a lot to do in the game, a lot to explore even when you finish the story. That's the only 10% of the islands that you've explored. There's mad shit to unlock and a lot of shit to do. The grinder isn't that bad either besides the combat being sleeper. A lot of cool moments in the game, a lot of detail to the MMO genre, ICL. 7 out of 10. I would say Vedex had a chance to create an insane masterpiece, but sold due to the combat. If the combat was extremely good and felt like you had to be on your toes at all times, this would be one of the best games on Roblox, hands down, and by years to come. Honestly, I said the same thing, bro. I said the same shit. If the combat was like genuinely good, 10 out of 10 game for me. But it can't be 10 out of 10 because the combat isn't as good as I want it to be. You feel me? Like, for me at least, okay? For me, everybody got their own opinions. I call it a game of 6 out of 10. God, man, fun to explore, do side quests, and figuring out how to complete them, etc. The main story and NPC interactions are in different options to apply to them with a nice touch. The combat so far is just spam clicking M1s with my weapon and spamming keybind, spamming. Damn, nigga, what are apostrophes or something or the commas? So far, but I'm pretty low level, so I'm not gonna talk on it. But it seems like it doesn't get any better. When you level up, yeah, like with the commas, please. So far, I rate the game a 6 or 7. Definitely not a game I'm going to be playing on a daily basis or consistently. Y'all understand that. 5 out of 10 from Koga. Retarded ass combat and a decent map. Vedex needs to evolve. I've been saying the same shit for the longest. Dame Donnie says 7 out of 10. I gotta say that Arcane Odesey was some of the most fun I've had on RAC and Roblox for years. I've never played OG Arcane Adventures or World of Magic, so I went into this blind. Well, you got blessed. I wish I didn't play them games before. Maybe I would have had a better outlook. The story quests were straight to the point and it's fun to play, and I really enjoyed how they didn't do some stupid kill 5 bandits the entire time. You actually have other objectives you need to do, and even some cool escape segments too. The exploration on this game is absolute peak. Considering all the islands at launch, unlike Roblox One Piece games, none of the islands really feel the same. And they all have their individual cheats, chest stats, secrets to find. On the downside though, my main issue with the game definitely is the combat. With normal enemies, it's manageable, but when you have to fight a 3 to 5k boss, niggas that can do half your health in two hits and regen, nah. When you use magic, it feels weird. Like, the game completely expects you to be jumping up and around and shit. It doesn't really feel like you can be strategic with your own magic. For example, you could possibly set all your magic to its max amounts with seemingly zero downside. The M1 combat really does suffer from this. Hell, it doesn't feel like any M1 combat at all. It's literally just spam clicking M1s, maybe using the melee skill that you combo into a magic. I heard there are different fighting styles in the game, but I haven't gotten to them yet. AO's combat feels like they took Blox Pete's runner ready combat and toned it down, while also making it worse at the same time. Also, fuck Fort Talos, that shit sucks dick. For AO, this is Neo. Neo said 4 out of 10. Game's great concept. Game's great except the combat. The story, atmosphere, map, NPC dialogue, pretty much everything about the game is good. Vedex had the perfect recipe for a game but ruined it with the combat. I say the same shit. The combat is either mind-numbingly brain dead or insanely sweaty. For the M1 combat, there isn't any stun, so you never have to think about comboing NPCs or players and fights with NPCs. Combat like this means you just sit in front of X NPCs and auto-click. And fights with players mean you're literally never landing more than one M1. For the magic / skill combat, it relies way too much on running around and spamming your keyboard, which would be fine if it wasn't just blatantly better to use blast skills and delete skills. So there's no real variation in the magic skills people are using unless their build literally requires no magic. Yeah, I've seen this a lot. Like, a lot of things people say about the magic was, oh my god, magics feel different. If you think about it, the magics are different. To me, the magics aren't different. Because they all blast, like, the magics all follow the same, they all have the same meaning. They all do the same thing, right? But they have different side effects. For example, lightning blast, fire blast. Lightning blast stuns you, fire blast burns you. They're both the same thing, just a different side effect. Now, you look at Deep, for example. You take like fucking fire rising and lightning rising, completely two different moves. Lightning rising is a fucking combo ender. Fire rising can be a combo extender. You feel me? So it's like it's kind of hard to. That's why I make this comparison. Like in Deep, magics that fall into the same category don't feel the same, but in World of Magic, blast feels like all magics feel the same, but the only thing different is like a color difference, and you know maybe burn damage is called burnt on fire, but burn damage is called poison on poison. If you think about it, they're both the same thing. And then it's like, yeah, there are some elemental things, like if you got water, you hit with lightning, you do shock, you get shocked. But it's like, how many people really have two magics? Anybody have two magics in this game? I don't know. And it says, and most of the magic clearly just have not been balanced as tested. Fire is just raw damage buff on every attack, while Crystal hits his opponent 4 times to get a 20% damage buff. Too long don't read. Fights against NPCs can be done while you're jerking off unless it's the boss. The combat is jump, spam, leaps, aim your combat moves. The attributes of elements aren't balanced at all. Example, fixed fighting versus crystal breaking. Yep. The counter argument people always bring up is people who hate combat have fallen in love with 5-hit combos and parrying. What they don't realize is that Vetex combat is fundamentally dog shit. If I wanted to play WASD and jump and spam moves on fucking keybinds, I would have hopped on Rogul. No cap. Captain Devil said, given that this is an early access game, it has more content than almost every other early access game released on Roblox, to the point that it wouldn't even believe it was even early access. The game does a lot of things exceptionally well, especially for a Roblox game. The exploration is fun, and even more so with friends. There's an actual story, multiple ways to progress, and other things to do besides beat on bandits. The ship combat is easily the best part of the game, and the gameplay loop of getting chests and sucking pirate ships and treasure charts can get addicting very fast. Clicking is also a very fun side thing to do that I enjoy. My dislikes so far are the fact that the combat is very mid at the beginning. The bad animations paired with the boring M1s makes it really unfun to play. However, I will say that I started to really fuck with the combat at max level once I got all my moves. I went fighting in weapons, a lot of skills stringing to each other, and PvP can actually get pretty intense, as you're always moving and trying to get the better position of your opponent. Despite this, the game takes way too long to get to this point, and it's easily AO's weakest point. My other gripe is that there's no keybinds, which is some BS cause. Which is some BS, cause G for block is a war crime among other things. Yeah, that was, if you want to be honest, when they told me that I can block in this game, I was pressing F to block for the longest. When they told me you press G to block, I closed the game, never got on again. That was my last time on the game when I heard the information. Overall, it's an 8 out of 10. It has a lot of potential to be easily the best game in Roblox. A few things get fixed, like crappy animations and janky ass combat, but there's a lot of good stuff that I have yet to see be equal by anything else on the platform. 2012 PvP 6.5 out of 10 by Martin. KC said Water Magic was better. I mean, technically, if you're asking me, PvE wise, I enjoy Water Magic a lot more. Like, I wasn't fighting PvP in the game anyway, right? So I think PvE wise, Water Magic was better. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. That's just me though. Water Magic was better. The main thing I liked about Water Magic was the adventure aspect. Being able to go anywhere and do anything and still progress and have an enjoyable time. If I were to do that now, however, I would simply get completely stat checked by enemies there, and sure, the map is just outright terrible. If I had to compare it to anything, it's identical to the average One Piece map, where you have a sea filled with nothing, with a completely linear progression of which islands to visit at which levels. Of course, I don't expect it to be able to just have an easy fight with everything, but when I'm getting 3-shot in the island next door, it really kills the adventure aspect for me. Especially coming from Water Magic, and the combat just feels so bad. Jump, use magic over and over again. And not only that, it feels really like they went and made magic weaker. Like in Water Magic, I would practically never use anything but magic. In this game though, it's practically half and half how many fights encourage you to simply spam click with your weapon in your hand, and the cooking system. It's like they were trying to make this game into Terraria with how much people really feel the need to buff themselves before fighting these bosses. The story, as far as I've seen, is nothing special. I wouldn't say it's bad, but I don't see why everyone's gassing like this. The Roblox equivalent to Elden Ring or something. With all that being said, here's how I rate it. Story, 6 out of 10. Map, 2 out of 10. Combat, 4 out of 10. Overall, 4 out of 10. To me, this is simply worse Water Magic. Now, honestly, I will give Vetex this. Me and a handful of people haven't really even read a single thing about the story, and that's because the combat isn't good. Like, to us, the combat isn't good, so it's like, why would I care about the story when the combat isn't good? Like, if the combat was fun, like when I first played the game, before I had my first fight, I was reading every dialogue. After I had my first fight and I sat there and spam and one click, I started skipping through all the dialogue. I was like, bro, fuck that shit, I do not care. I'm just playing the game at this point just to play it. But it's like, it's one of the main things. If your combat is bad, you can't expect to catch people into a story with shit combat. I'm sorry, that's how it is. Larry Holmes said, Vetex could have done much better if this combat and PvP wasn't so trash. I want to enjoy the game for the story and the world, but the meat of the game, and what normally my favorite part of most games is spamming M1 on a boss and air camping with magic. It's just not fun. It doesn't help that he designed the controls and bosses with a blindfold on. Why is G to block? Why is it G to block? In total, 6 out of 10 elements of Battlegrounds RPG. Pretty much what he's saying is, He wants to enjoy the game because he plays games for combat. But the combat in this game is just jumping around and spam clicking, which is what I said was how I told you this is how it's gonna be from the moment they started showing sneak peeks of the game. People was digging at me saying, "Oh my God, that's not what it is." I mean, as we can see, I was right. Combat is less fun than blocks, fruit, yapping. Smart fella says 6 out of 10. This game has too much stuff that I sometimes feel were made to inconvenience or infuriate you. A great example being the bosses. From Elias onwards, I was either bombarded with FX, which stopped me from seeing where the bosses were moving, or bosses dashing around every 2 seconds. The final boss has an auto tracking nuke for some reason that can hit you for 500 damage several times to use. Against most bosses, I just ended up using my magic blast, the first fucking skill, and I feel like it's the best skill against them. It makes me feel like I've just been grinding all this time. I've been grinding all this other shit for no PvE use. My next complaint is shifts. This leans into inconvenience aspect. I was talking about this earlier. When you have to sail all the way from your spawn to do literally anything, if for any reason you die, then you set back to your spawn, your ship's just stuck where you are, and you're basically leaving you stuck at that spawn point, which will get annoying. Right now, if you can set your spawn with camps, makes it a little bit better, but it won't be as much help as you think if you regard to what I explained. This one's more minor, but why does resetting out of combat make you lose coins? Bro, people was telling me you can reset out of combat and not lose stuff. I watched Fino do it. I reset out of combat and it took my fucking money. I was so mad. I literally understand anything else, but that's just lame as hell. There were major complaints. These were my major complaints on AO. If I left something, I probably I probably got over it or forgot. On to the pros. Obviously, one thing is like the story and music. The story is well written for Roblox game. I really enjoy the music selection. I don't know if they ever made any of it or music from all other games. Bosses take a step up from his other games in regard that when you die, you spawn right next to him, except for Sure, but he isn't as difficult. In Arcane Adventures, this would not happen. Literally, if you die, to Theos, you respawn at the other side of the map. I've also enjoyed ship combat and seeking NPC ships for loot. If you get the RAM, you love it. Overall, I say the game is a good game, but it has a shitload of nonsense that can kill the enjoyment. So conclusion, the level 20 through 40 gap ain't shit. People need to stop gassing it. Obviously, he needed to give a ranking. GG, I guess. FedEx barely improved as a dev. He released the 2011 game in 2023. The cloud fuel shit was cool though. That was cool as fuck. How was the game a 2? Game prog good. The combat just not it, and the bosses are crazy. Everything else is top tier though, I guess. Alright, so as a resident Roblox dick rider, I'm gonna say this game didn't disappoint me. The plot is interesting on Roblox game, and the game of launch feel complete. But 2 glaring issues that keep stopping me 10 out of 10. The goddamn combat and boss fights. So the game didn't disappoint you, right? But it's not a 10. So the game didn't disappoint you, but you gave it a 7.5. That math not mathing, my boy. The goddamn combat and boss fights, holy shit. Someone who's been Roblox since 2011 has seen games go from DBZ Final Adventure to stuff like DBOG. The combat feels like I'm playing something from 2012, and even though the game isn't focused on PvP and is more PvE based, it doesn't mean the combat shouldn't just feel so brain dead. And the boss fights, bro. What the fuck was FedEx thinking when he was coding this shit? Bro, the first order boss fight, I fought that shit a couple times, bro. And I was like, this nigga FedEx never played the game in his life. If that's how he coded that boss. But aside from that, the game is really good, as it's something a lot of anime community and general Roblox community and take ideas from the game, like the quest system giving out actual EXP, the bulk combat, or the option to pick any kind of magic. I wasn't instead using the spin with shitty rates. Yeah, the fact that you couldn't spin for shit, I was happy he didn't take that route. Good job for that one, though, FedEx. 7.5 out of 10 for me. Fun for kids, not fun for older audience. Yeah, I'm pretty sure FedEx knows that too, which is why he made a game like this. Adam says, how long was this video? 19 minutes. Adam said 1 out of 10. Only thing that intrigued me in this game was the story and how your choices overall affected in the modified overall. My brain fart. In the modified overall, the narratives of the story's progression. Another thing would be the dialogues that often allow the players to interpret their own perspective onto the game's mechanics and characteristics, where everyone had an ability to become either one who was evil, neutral, or heroic. Nothing in this game was original besides the latter. The combat is absolute dog shit. I don't know how you can say somebody got through this shitty ass block through bootleg ass combat and act like it's one of the lifetime innovative functions of Roblox games. The ability to create and modify your own abilities only incentivizes players to utilize meta abilities, meta animations, and meta stats to alleviate their gameplay in both PvP and PvE. This combat is also unoriginal. It is proved to be an overall failure, shown by the amount of abilities you could create proportional to the amount of abilities you can actually utilize. The boss fights were horrendous and encouraged players to simply hide in the corner or an accessible area for the encounter in order to win against the said boss. Legit, I spammed M1s both against Ronin and Iris, whilst only having to use evasive maneuvers against Lord Ilias and the King with a pure Berserker build. The map is mediocre, nothing special about it, and just another carbon copy of the exploration in the GPO/Depot scheme exploration. Although the touch of the Dark Seas to highlight a significantly difficult area was a distinctive touch, yet proved nothing about how unique the map was. Overall, the game is another shitty banner beater, and those otherwise who believe it's a good game are delusional and are attempting to forge a forcing image of a game 2 years in development that actually proved successful. This shit is not fun, it never will be. 1 out of 10 from Adam. I'm only here for the reviews. Ayo is a 5 out of top 5 out of 10. From Sly Cocky himself, honestly a little disappointed. Combat seems mid as hell and the graphics seem super outdated, but other than that, it does seem different. It does seem decent. Can't read. Beppo says, "Yo, this game is ass. I didn't play it, but I read it. Oh, nigga, he don't even count. He ain't even play it." Arcus said, 5 out of 10 is alright, but gives Bandit Beater vibes. Stir said, it's the last one. Stir says, a glorified Bandit Beater with a wide variety of methods to level up with many quests. It was nice to see many different quests you can pick, but they became repetitive after the first 10 or 20 times. The combat really is just outdated for this age, and I'm back in 2019 or something. But otherwise, the combat isn't terrible. It's flawed because players can just run away from you once they feel like they about to lose a fight. They can't do anything about it. And all Exhibit A. What is this? Nigga gave proof? Oh, he's PvEing. PvPing, and the dude's just hitting feet from him. This nigga is getting missing. I'd be mad as fuck. He ain't catch this nigga yet, bro. God damn, he ain't catch this nigga yet. Does he ever catch this nigga? Oh yeah. No, he led him into a boss fight. That was a 1,000 IQ move. That nigga is gone. Does he even catch him, bro? Yeah, nah. He ain't even catch that nigga. Sheesh, I would have been angry. I'd have been angry as hell. It was nice to see different factions you could join, like Assassins and Navy, maybe some other ones too. It's nice to see how the game implements the story mode into the main game, while it's also making it feel natural. The issue was the faction you joined didn't really have anything special for early game. For Assassin, it was basically to only be bounties, nothing else. I don't know about Navy. Absolutely hate the swimming mechanic. Absolutely hate it. If they made so you can hold T once the water to do a super jump in the water, it'd be fine. Since currently climbing is way too slow in my opinion, especially if we try to climb straight out the water. Main reason for the low rating is probably the combat. It's just very outdated and clunky for my liking. Oh god. And that's pretty much it if you think about it. Like, that's all the reviews of the game. Oh shit. Well, let's do game review. The channel gonna still be open in case you want to come, like, you know, talk about the game and shit. You do it all the time here, you know. So no wonder how you feeling or how you think you feeling. Just come in and talk to us about it. We'll always be here. I have no more water. My review will be up either today, the same day, or like maybe tomorrow. I don't know. But man, the game, honestly, to me, how I honestly feel, I feel like the game should have been turn-based. That's how I feel. Arcane Odesey should have been turn-based. 10 out of 10 game if the combat wasn't there. I'm so serious, bro. I would rather play a turn-based game than play Arcane Odesey. That's just how it is. I'm sorry. Well, if y'all enjoyed it, drop a like down below. Hit a comment what you want to see next. Games you want me to review. Games you want me to play. Join the Discord. Subscribe if you want to see more of the content. How we pretty much back, man. Arcane Odesey, I waited for so long for this, and niggas was on my dick for so much about this game, bro. It's not it.